Former President Biden's health decline come to light. Republicans in Congress are accusing the White House of a huge cover-up. Now Texas Senator John Cornyn is president. He's going to Delaware when in fact he's going to Houston to visit Bo for treatment. What does that tell you about the book with stuff that was happening right before our eyes? I think one passage that did stand out to me, though, was this section about the lengths that they went to conceal Bo Biden's, how easily they could lie about this stuff.
Welcome to the Reaction Radar. Today, we're going to be talking about Biden's cover-up controversy. And things that may be uncovered here will possibly shake up Washington to its core. But without any further ado, let's jump right into this.
Former President Biden's health decline come to light. Republicans in Congress are accusing the White House of a huge cover-up. Now Texas Senator John Cornyn is demanding the DOJ investigate whether the former president's inner circle broke any laws representing his physical and mental fitness, writing in part, "I fear the American people were deliberately misled about President Biden's health. I do not have confidence in the former president's aides and staff, including medical staff, or their ability to be honest and straightforward." Senator John Cornyn with us now. Senator, you raised some very good questions about whether those around him should face any consequences for this. Is there a law or is there a rule that says that they owe as much to the American public as they do to the boss they're carrying out orders for?
Well, that's what this investigation is all about, is to determine whether any laws were broken. We know that the Biden administration basically misled and deceived the American people about the president's competency. And here again, we're talking about the leader of the free world, the commander in chief. This is a national security issue. And to have a completely dysfunctional president, as apparently President Biden appeared to be, and now with the latest revelations of his other health issues, kept from the American people, this is something that needs to be investigated. That's the reason for the letter. And I look forward to getting the results from the Attorney General and the FBI.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. No disrespect, but myself included, a lot of people knew there was something off with President Biden, right? The gentleman couldn't walk, couldn't stand, couldn't hold a conversation, couldn't keep up with certain things. At what point did you guys, or were you guys going to think that there was something wrong? If I'm not mistaken, today is May 22nd. On the 20th, a book dropped. So are all these things coming into light now because of that book? That the book is the one that created all these awareness that you should have followed up and should have seen on regular TV about? I have a little bit of a mixed emotions about this, because regardless of whatever political party is, right? This was the president of the United States of America. And I personally think people should be held accountable for this. They should even be seeing some type of charges. Because how do you have the president of the United States of America walking around, falling down, can't keep up with speech, and you guys did nothing to stop him or protected him? This is beyond humiliation. This is beyond humiliation. But what does that say, about the future of our country? Does this mean that if somebody else gets in there and they're ill or what have you, nobody's going to say anything? They're just going to take an auto pen and just start signing documents? Is that what we're doing now? But you know how we do. Let's dig deeper into this and see what they're talking about.
FBI, that'll be interesting. You guys have been following this. We've been following this, but it seems like much of the rest of the Washington press is just now waking up to this issue. There are a series of...
They're just waking up to this, really?
Headlines: Washington Times op-ed, "America's Missing President." National Review, damning portrait of Joe Biden's loyal inner circle. Politico had an op-ed, "All the president's enablers." Washington Post editorial, "If Biden was too frail for his job, voters should have been informed." But
most of them, including myself, were informed, and all those news media up there, I think, should be terminated. Again, what is your purpose other than putting out fake information and fear-mongering? You're not doing any justice or nothing good to the American citizens. You're withholding information and just putting out stuff that you want to put out. Like I said, if you're a reporter a news person, what have you, whatever it is, put the facts out. Put nothing but the facts out and let the people decide. You don't have to pull out your fruit and be like, this is an apple. It's a red, delicious apple. Let the consumers, pick that up on their own. They have eyes. They have a mind. They can make that up. They can see, oh, wow, that is a red apple. I love it. They don't need you to spoon feed them and tell them what to think and what not to think and get them all riled up, right?
But at the same time, much of what was in this book was stuff that was happening right before our eyes. I think one passage that did stand out to me, though, was this section about the lengths that they went to conceal Beau Biden's brain cancer and the decision to actively mislead the public about it, telling folks while he was Attorney General that he had a clean bill of health, saying he had a small lesion removed from his brain, turns out the size of a golf ball. And then Biden tells people when he's vice president he's going to Delaware, when in fact he's going to Houston to visit Beau for treatment. What does that tell you about just how easily they could lie about this stuff?
Well, this is really an indictment of the mainstream media for many years, and Democrats are now reeling from having to deal with the consequences of their lies for so many years. Because basically they told the rest of America, don't believe your lying eyes. We knew that President Biden was having some cognitive dysfunction. It became most apparent during the debate with President Trump. And then, of course, Kamala Harris was, without any vote of the Democratic primary voters, installed as the nominee. This was essentially a coup based by the Democratic Party, based on their own failure to deal with the president's cognitive disabilities for many, many years. So the birds have finally come home to roost.
And one last piece here, the former First Lady is also coming into focus with this. I want to play for you what a DC journalist said about an interaction that she had.
I blame Jill Biden for this. Jill Biden is his wife. And if Jill Biden had stood up, had gone to him and said, Joe, you can't do it. And if you do, you're on your own, I'm out. He wouldn't have run because he couldn't have done it without her support. And, she clearly was in favor of him running. And I just think it was a terrible disservice to the country. She wasn't protecting him from himself. I thought it was just elder abuse, really.
Sally Quinn went on to say that she shared those thoughts with Jill Biden. Is she going to be on the list, Jill Biden, the former First Lady, of people that you want to get information out of? Who is on your list?
Well, you can't get away with this without co-conspirators. And certainly President Biden's family did not do him any favors by pretending that he was just fine and that there were no changes. So I expect the investigation to be thorough. No one is going to be excused. And family members, I would expect, would be part of that investigation.
Senator John Cornyn, thank you very much. We will be following all that. Appreciate your time this morning.
Well, what are your thought process on that? As usual, go ahead and drop a like if you like this, subscribe, and definitely drop me a comment in the comment section to let us know what, how you feel, what your thought process is on this, Well, that wraps it up for today's Reaction Radar. Thank you for tuning in. If you find this helpful again, please, it would help me. Do me a favor. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, okay? And until we meet again, please stay informed and engaged.